The Joe Rogan Experience.
It gets back to where we started talking about there will always be a part of me that is making music because it's really maybe the only place where I'm truly free. You know what I mean? I have the freedom. You know, it's funny. I tell this story. We were on Saturday Night Live 2 times. The second time was on our second album, Southern Harmony. And we went on the show. It was the #1 album in America. It debuted at #1. Our new single was a song called Sometimes Salvation. We were going to play that. And we were going to play one of our big hit records. And at the time, it was called Remedy. And we had just written this song called Nonfiction, and I was like, "Let's play Nonfiction." And it's funny because it's different as my brother and I. Rich was like, "Yeah, fuck it," you know what I mean? Like, it's a cool song. The guy, whoever was the music guy, he was like, "You can't do that," and I was like, "Well, I mean, we can do what we want, I think." He was mad because we were smoking weed in the dressing room. I'm like, "Didn't John Belushi OD in the bathroom?" I'm like, "What do you fucking care? Call the cops."
Yeah.
I told him, call the cops. We get arrested in Saturday Night Live for smoking weed. It'll be bigger than this. But the guy, now that I'm older, I realize I was just totally being just horrible, like kid. But he goes, "You're making a big mistake not playing this single." And I said, "Okay, well, here's the deal. You're on this show next week with some other fucking band. And then the next week after that. And then the next week after that. Well, this is my band. So let me make the mistake. I'm not going to let you tell us what to do. And if it's a mistake, then we'll fucking eat it, won't we?" And I'm still here.
And where's he?
Well, it's funny. Someone told me he has I forget his name. I ran into him once before. He did not like our attitude. He was on a podcast about Saturday Night Live or something and said we were the worst people he ever dealt with in his entire career there. And I was like, "Well, thank you."
That's funny. The worst how? Because you just didn't listen to him?
Yeah, we didn't do what he wanted.
Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do with artists.
Especially when you're young and you're still like, the fire is like so intense. You know what I mean?
That's always the problem with executive mindsets versus artistic mindsets, right? And a producer character who just wants everything to go according to this very specific plan they have laid out. And you're trying to take an artist, and first of all, just trying to take an artist and making them sing one song is kind of crazy, right? It's like,
I mean, I think we see that now.
Yeah.
You know, we see people are like, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's someone who's ready to jump up and do anything. And I think that's been a part of showbiz. But that's kind of what we were saying before. I think the talent show thing, the vote for me.
right.
You know what? No one was voting for us.
Right,
We were
right.
unvotable.
Right.
And that was part of the reason that we were drawn to these characters and these people and these other outsiders and these other whatever kind of spectrum we're on or whatever that's different, that we were like, music to us represented everything anti-vote for me.
But did it feel weird to transcend that and become mainstream massive?
Yes,
I mean,
it's
you
still
guys,
weird
like,
sometimes.
what is the juxtaposition? I mean, it has to be so strange. You're these rebels, and then all of a sudden, you're the #1 fucking band in the world.
And then, and it was tough. It was maybe tougher for me because I was more boots on the ground in the scene and with people. And now it's like, especially in the 80s in Atlanta, it was like, fuck anyone who signs with a major label, man, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
like power to the people or whatever, and then it's like you're on MTV 30 times a day and in between fucking Toyota commercials and Snapple or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so, and it's weird because our politics are so in line with so many of the alternative politics of music, the way, that would the grunge or whatever, and so I'm the same age as all of the grunge bands, but I don't exist in the 90s in the same way. We weren't, you know what I mean? Because we were doing something. But it is funny, like, people say, well, no fucking label is signing a Kurt Cobain today. But as a matter of fact, Kurt and our generation of people we were talking about compliance and defiance. You're making a mistake. Fuck it. It's my mistake to make. It's my band. It's my art. And people and my kind of generation. It's not about being old, but now I think there's so much compliance. Okay, I don't want to cause any trouble at the record label.
We're all distorted right now with social media and all the different avenues for people to get attention and to get famous. It's so easy. I shouldn't say it's easy because it's rare but common. So it's like it's more highlighted which way you can go to achieve success.
I mean, we loved the Replacements. That was their being on Saturday Night Live was a disaster. But we thought that's our band. I remember every fucking person that we knew in Atlanta that Saturday night that the Replacements came on and made in TV on Saturday Night Live. We all were at parties and watching it and getting completely shit-faced. Watching, they shave their eyebrows off and shit and were rolling around and changed clothes. And people were like, oh dear. We were like, yeah, cheering it on. That's it. Isn't that part of one of the goals is to be that big of a pain in the ass to the... And who are you being a pain in the ass to? But some authority.
Right.
Something that says you can't do that or this is the way it goes. And that changes, But I think as a youth, that's definitely something I'm not feeling with a lot of bands. I mean, I think it's there in the punk scene and stuff like that, but they're not getting access to them. Green Day is still that way, I feel.
The carrot is still dangled right in front of everybody's faces, so close now. Especially with people that make it independently through YouTube and TikTok and all these different venues. There's just so many different ways that someone could become massively successful now.
See, this is where I become the time traveler. I am from the last century.
Yeah.
I get it. I find, I think a guy smashing his nuts on a rail on a skateboard is as funny as anyone, but I've seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like Steve Coogan or something. You know what I mean? Like the craft and subtext and all this other weird cerebral stuff with comedy or whatever. I just don't, I will never... it's just me as well. The things the cinema that I enjoy, the books I read, the records that I listen to, there is all of them. If there's one thing in common, there's a level of craft.
There's a difference between having a fine meal at a very nice restaurant versus eating garbage.
Yeah.
Eating tasty garbage. And TikTok is tasty garbage.
Yeah, you're right. That's absolutely, I've never thought about it like that.
It's bad for you. And you can't put it down, and you keep going to it, and you overconsume it.
And at least when it's just visual, you don't get a big stain on your shirt.
But you get a stain. I think you get a stain on your brain.
soul.
Yeah, I really do.